Suncorp Stadium, and look at that crowd. Don't they love their football here in Queensland? They call it the Cauldron, but we used to know it as Lang Park, but it's always a special atmosphere tonight, especially on State of Origin night, Game 3, and they are enthusiastic for their team to do well here tonight, and why not? They've got plenty to prove. And to call the game, the man with the best league tonsils in the business, here is Ray Warren.
Thank you, Kenny, and good evening, everybody, again, as we look down, and the Queenslanders are leaving the dressing rooms en route now to be welcomed, of course, by this very parochial crowd, and there they go, out onto Suncorp Stadium for the third Origin of 1996. It's all been documented. The series has been won by the Blues, but this really means something to the players, and of course, as I said earlier, to the people of Queensland. Talking about it, the atmosphere is electric here. Dale Shearer in his 27th Origin game. In fact, he comes in at number 4 behind Meninga, Lewis and Langer. Rowdy Shearer wearing the 6. Renouf, a player that Paul Vaughton will be looking to get more involved. That man needs no pumping up, does he? Billy Moore. Ground in beautiful condition. And Owen Cunningham, you caught a flash of him, the oldest debutant in State of Origin football. And now the Blues. Unchanged. And out they go with the series well and truly in their grasp. They don't want to feel that disappointment that Ken Sutcliffe was talking about in relation to Laurie Daly and the boys in, I think it was 1993. So the fireworks and the preamble starts to settle. And a couple of very special things to be done here just prior to kick-off tonight. Jamie Ainscough just getting warm and staying stretched. Tim Brasher. Who will be the man of the series? Another question that'll be answered tonight. Will it be Andrew Johns? Maybe Tim Brasher? Jeff Tuvey? Crowd of probably 40,000 in. In fact, in Game 2 this year, they reached a record for Suncorp at 41,955. Willie Kahn recalled the State of Origin duty. As we pause for the national anthem to be performed by Peter Murphy, a 10-year veteran of the music business. Peter Murphy, he's performed alongside groups such as Icehouse and, of course, with Jack Jones. And this minute's silence is for the 18 servicemen who lost their lives last weekend in the Townsville Black Hawk tragedy. We stop and think about them and, of course, their friends and relatives at Suncorp tonight. might have noticed the New South Wales players are wearing black armbands tonight. And that is in the honour of young Ben Lewis, who lost his battle with leukemia this month at the Sydney Children's Hospital. He was a big supporter of rugby league, the Broncos, just 16. And that's why they're wearing the black armbands tonight, in his memory and to serve as a reminder of the work done at the Sydney Children's Hospital. David Manson is about to blow time on, and there it is. Origin 3 is underway in front of 40,000 at Suncorp, and Tim Brasher is the man that brings it back. 9th Origin, equaling Gomersall's record for David Manson tonight. And Tuvey is picked up and Bowlers carried back towards the 10-metre line. Daly scampers in for dummy half work, and Lazarus comes away. And again, 3 of the Queenslanders combine to force him down, and Lazarus losing the ball. Tuvey bombarded by the defence. And Fittler it is now at dummy half. Tuvey a little bit slow to get up and play that ball. Probably just soaking up some time to let... and look at this driving defence by Queensland early. Shearer and Furner, they become entangled. Harrigan goes out now, and he's the first one that actually went forward. Now from Tuvey, across for the clearing kick off the boot of Andrew Johns, and it's going down to Wendell Saylor, 33 metres away from his line. He's gone away from Daly, gone through Dean Pay, and pulled down by Harrigan.
One of the best 5 tackles we've seen in a row in this Origin series as Dale Shearer is tackled on the halfway line. And the kick from Andrew Johns was fielded in good field position by the Queensland team. 3 tackles gone now, 40 out from the New South Wales line.
Play by Brad Thorne. First penalty of the game goes to the Maroons. Just off centre, 30 metres out. And Alfie's throwing the ball to Khan to take the kick.
Well, I'd say Alan Langer would be under instructions there from the coach. Unlike him, Langer likes normally to take the quick tap and get the other side on the back foot, put some early points on. Here's that penalty. Offside, all of them in front of David Manson.
Great atmosphere here. Unbelievable, the crowd that is stacked in here. You talk about a dead series. It's very much alive here.
There's the driving defence from the Maroons we saw in 3 tackles. Dale Shearer, a little bit of a dust up on the side with David Furner. And Willie Khan has been given the goal kicking duties. Not one that he's particularly comfortable with. But it's a fairly easy attempt, 30 metres out, not far from the centre of the posts, and on the preferred side for a right foot kicker.
Khan, in his 12th Origin, hits it nicely, and here they are. First points of the Origin goes to the home side. 2 points to nothing. Second minute, first blood. The Blues bring it back for the restart. Down for Langer, and he looks at Larson. Better you than me, take it back, and Larson. High tackle.
Paul Harrigan's the culprit.
Back at Suncorp, Queensland took it back on the first tackle, and Paul Harrigan has been penalised for a high shot on Gary Larson. Here it is on replay.
Well, David Furner, the man, he has definitely gone high.
Push it back to 10. From here. Don't move.
Harrigan, Furner, whichever one it might have been. Queensland up 2 points to 0 after 2 minutes. An offload there, a speculator for Steve Walters. Playing it back now for Andrew G. And Queensland take it back towards halfway, and they find Brad Thorne with a little hit and spin, and then Shearer goes across. Was there a hit of the Shepherd provided by Coyne?
Well, there was no New South Wales defender impeded from the ball carrier. But I've got to say, in that one movement, we saw more depth from the Maroons back line than we've seen in the previous 2 series, and that is a very good sign.
Walters a dummy half there. They're just into Blues territory. Langer kicks, in fact, on the halfway line. It's got plenty of depth and plenty of quality. Finding the line 5 metres out.
A lot of room there for Langer. Just have a look where Tim Brasher is after Langer kicks the ball. He's way out of position, not covering that short side, as you'd expect. A great kick from Alf.
Take it out, Wally.
Penalty goal for Queensland. Gives them this 2-point lead. Early minutes of the third state of origin. I was about to call it the decider. And if you were here, you would think it was. Certainly north of the border as they go out from their own 10-metre line with Adam Muir. And taken down by Andrew G and cleaned up there by Gary Larson. It's Tuvey now. Looks for a call, looks for his forward runner. Picks up Dean Pay. Moore goes up the top and takes him down with the help of Brad Thorne. And they're just outside the 20-metre line now, the Blues, as Tuvey goes out from dummy half and menaces Queensland with those runs as he has been all series. He catches them inside the 10 and the Blues take the penalty.
That was fairly late in the tackle count, so it's a real bonus for New South Wales as Andrew John gets a great torpedo kick down 30 metres out. The first real attacking opportunity for the New South Wales side. Glenn Lazarus will take it within 22 metres.
Now, chance to test them, I mean really test them here, as they go down with the second tackle to the 20-metre line, and Harrigan takes it up, did well, and then Johns puts a flick pass on, no knock on against Pay. It doesn't matter though, Hearn has come up with it for Queensland. It came off Dean Pay's legs, and now G scoops it off the ground and away for Shearer, and Shearer is able to make the 20-metre line.
We've given Andrew Johns plenty of raps, but that was a poor pass. Second tackle, only 20 out. Really a bad option to take and took the receiver by surprise.
Trickle of blood do I see coming down the right cheek of Steve Walters. 30 metres out from his own line. He's a dummy half now and looking for Langer, who he finds, and then Tony Hearn gives it back for Langer. Good work by Tony Hearn. 40 metres out from their own line and looking sharp for Queenslanders with a 2-0 lead as Shearer puts his kick in, and it bounces down favourably for Rod Wisher, who comes away from the 20 and the 30. He's opened them up. The support is coming on the right. He goes back to the left, and Wishart is held by Saylor. Now for Tuvey. And across for Fittler. They come across the ground before John steps off his left foot and goes back in. Then it's Tuvey on the right, and Brasher comes back to the left. And then it's with Johns, and he turns it back. And it's picked up on the ground there eventually by Paul Harrigan. And now the Blues, with the sting just going out of the attack, and Furner is 25 metres out, still with a couple of tackles left, and they come onto the blind side with Pay. And he is taken there by Mark Coyne, playing right centre defence. Tuvey there. And Tuvey goes to the blind, stops and props and serves it back for Lazarus and Johns and then Fittler. And then a two-man decoy run before Eddinghausen catches and passes for Wishart. And Wishart goes down, tackled 20 metres out from the Queensland line. The Blues then, they come across the ground. Eddinghausen took a heavy knock from Khan. The Bombers across the ground. It came off the hands of Mullins backwards. Tuvey stands and unloads. Daly bats it back across for Pay, and Pay is tackled. That is the turnover, and good defence by Queensland.
Outstanding scrambling from the Queenslanders. The Blues have showed their hand early. They are just going to throw it around, try to get some points on the board very early. They don't want to wait. I don't think they're prepared to just build on this. Uncharacteristic. Larson getting driven back there by the Blues.
We saw a try saver from Mark Coyne on Jeff Tuvey. Didn't take the dummy, and Dean Pay really should have known it was the last tackle and got some sort of kick attempted into the in-goal area.
Andrew G playing it, and Hearn brings it out and does well. He cracks the defensive line and is brought down 25 metres out from his own line. Short passing away from Walters for Billy Moore. And Paul Vaughton would be happy with the opening minutes of Origin 3. Then they go back for the kick off the right foot of Dale Shearer. And the ball didn't quite get that chance because Brasher moved quickly off to his left. And Brasher is then put down 33 metres out from his own line for Daly to serve Adam Muir with the pass. And Muir is able to run a good 10 metres before reaching them. Lazarus then comes up the centre. Lazarus will play it a couple of metres on his side of halfway. 2-0 then, a penalty goal kicked by Willie Kahn after 2 minutes, and then Harrigan, and now Tuvey. and Johns is looming on the right, but Tuvey is tackled and put away. 35 metres out from the Queensland line. To the left they come, into the hands of the captain. Fittler steps off the left foot twice, then gets it away. Brescia's gone inside the 20. A floating pass. Mullins can't take it. And it's going to be a scrum to restart, but they busted them.
Beautiful play from Brad Fittler. The big step, the strength of the man is unbelievable, and a beautiful ball to Tim Brasher. You've got to be critical that the outside support players weren't there quicker. Brett Mullins reacted too late. Should have been there so that Brasher could have delivered a better pass, although you've got to say it was a poor attempt from the fullback as well.
So Queensland winning the scrum back on their own 10-metre line, a mandatory 10-metre scrum. Steve Roach, with the series won by New South Wales, I see a lot of offloads being chanced by players. Probably that's what we came here to expect anyway.
Yeah, isn't it great? The crowd's on the edge of their seats. There's been more offloads early in this match than there has been for the whole series.
Yeah, good stuff as we find Gary Larson playing it now. And Steve Walters goes for a dummy half run. It's a bumping run and provides 10 metres of territory for the Maroons.
This is a bit of a concern. Queensland need to go forward. It's good to see the kicking game go back to Alan Langer. Two great kicks now. A couple of ordinary ones from Dale Shearer earlier. I'd say Langer will keep the duties.
Brasher there. I thought for a moment was going to score at the other end of the park. He plays it close to the touchline, and then Daly goes infield to find his Canberra teammate, Brett Mullins, who scored a couple of tries in Sydney. And now for Dean Pay, and Andrew Johns combines, and David Furner gets the short pass. He's 35 metres out from his own line, 2-0, but New South Wales have looked ominous on at least two occasions as Muir loses the ball. Eddinghausen knocked on. And David Manson will put a scrum down. It'll be a Maroons loose head and feed. Manson, his 4th straight Origin tonight. And that sets a record for Origin straight. I mentioned earlier his 9th Origin in total, equaling that of Barry Gomersall. And there it is, the knock-on against the Blues after it was lost by Adam Muir in the tackle. So the field position cameras take us above the play, and Dale Shearer it was who was working with Wendell Sailor, and the Blues have been pinched for inside the 10 again.
Good refereeing, David Manson. Gave the Queensland team the opportunity to capitalise on perhaps making a break, but it was in the back of his mind. The Blues were a few metres offside from the scrum.
Yes, the players love it when the referee plays good advantage. Tim Brasher was a mile offside in the backline defence for New South Wales. Steve Wallace will take the tap, 10 metres in, 20 out. And again, good depth for the Maroons.
Cross with Shearer. Larson got in front of him, and now they pick off Renouf. Out wide, he stands and tries to help his centre partner Coyne. Coyne, though, is put down and pushed down again by Fittler. And now Khan. Jolting tackle by Broncos teammate Lazarus. Steve Walters looking for Alfie Langer. He picks him up now. This is where Langer is ultra dangerous. Beat one, but he's been put down by Harrigan. Centre of the park, 10 metres out. Andrew G off to the right, calling it. He's with it. And then across, and it's Shearer, who's met there by Daly, but it's been offloaded for Moore. Then Sailor. Sailor pushes away from Furner. He does the same to little Tuvey, and then eventually is pulled down by Brad Fittler. Queensland on the attack. They're 15 out, they're 10 out as Langer waits it into the end goal, and it's over the dead ball line. I fancy off the Blues.
Yes, I think you'll find that Brett Mullins was forced to play at the football. He didn't want to. The attackers were zeroing in very, very quickly. Alan Langer deliberately across for Mark Coyne. And you'll see Mullins just throw the hand out. The line drop out the result, and that is a good result for the home side.
Andrew Johns restarts with the line drop out that goes 50 metres on the fly. And Brad Thorne is flying back to them. 35 metres away. I fancy New Zealand-born Brad Thorne in this match, because he qualified apparently in rugby league here in Queensland. And now it's from Billy Moore, and then Alan Langer, and Langer to get away from that tackle. He knew there was a chance on. Walters is able to stand, and they're going to have to put him down because he is very strong and he can get an offload away. And 20 metres out from the Blues line, that is danger. Here's Shearer drifting across the park, and And he waits it into the end goal again. And here's a problem for Mullins, confronted by Dallas, and he's put over the in-touch in-goal line. So again a line dropout, and that means more pressure.
Yeah, nothing doing in attack there for Dale Shearer, so decides to put the kick down. Brett Dallas not really ready for it, but a good chase from him and Coyne. No choice again. Brett Mullins nowhere to go. We'll just push him over the sideline.
Coach Paul Vaughton will be hoping that his side will remain patient here. A couple of sets of 6 in a row. That's why we're seeing an early interchange with Steve Menzies coming into the fray. The coach would just want them to keep persevering and persevering, not get frustrated at all. The gaps may appear. Dean Pay, the player, leaving.
Again, it's a reenactment of what we saw 6 tackles ago. And Brad Thorne has tackled again. So 33 metres out from the Blues line, and Andrew G angles across. Oh, that was a great tackle by the number 9, Johns. And now they go down the left with Larson coming back up the centre. 21 metres off from the New South Wales line. Into the hands of Langer. He lets Shearer go, picks up Billy Moore. Moore is put down by his opposite number, Adam Muir. Played back now for Khan. Sweep off to the right for Hearn. And Hearn taken down by Daly, but more importantly by Lazarus, the last tackle. What will Langer do now? He's going to the air with the cross kick, running one way, kicking back the other, and what brought them a try in Sydney has failed tonight.
It's a well-placed kick from Langer. On the last 3 good chases there, Khan, Renouf and Saylor. Just have a look at it here. Steps inside Daly, kicking back across to his left. They were very close to being offside.
And the call came from the far touch judge. He put the hand out and said that the chasers were behind the kicker. The referee has ruled it was a knock on there, so it was a restart for New South Wales, but a very close thing.
Played then by Wishart as the Blues again are confronted with this problem of being down inside their own 20-metre line, and this is the area that they can't afford to make a mistake in. 12 tackles on them from line dropouts, repetitive line dropouts. This is Steve Menzies with his first touch of the ball.
Well, this is where unlimited interchange comes into play. Menzies coming onto the field, fresh players, and Gould I'm sure will use more if Queensland pin the Blues down again and bring some more forwards on just to give his big fellas a rest up the middle.
Salad 35 metres away from their own line, and it's with Willie Kahn. Again, a combination of the Broncos taking play back down towards the halfway line, and close passing there, resulting in Gary Larson pulled down by Tuvey and Menzies, and Walters continues the wrap over to the right, and Tony Hearn has been very spirited. Now they go across the face of Larson for Langer to give on, for Shearer to step and be put down by good cover from Harrigan, and they're 35 metres out from the Blues line. Into the hands of Langer. He's away from Tuvey. He puts the kick in, falls over as he does so, and Wishart is back there, confronted by Willie Kahn, who came down from an onside position. Wishart is tackled just inside his 20-metre line. Now from Eddinghausen for Brasher to angle across and away from Langer. Then Daly, catch and pass. Mullins. And Mullins will be made to play the ball under the defence of Dallas and Coyne.
And isn't that great to watch? Very confident play there from Brasher and Daly, and to create some space out wide, even 15 metres from their own line. Now Glenn Lazarus drops the hip. Billy Moore can't hold on, and he finds Tuvey again backing up as he always does. Takes play 45 metres out.
So from Muir now, it's back for Fittler, and Fittler sends it away from Wendell Saylor, making the big fullback cover a bit of territory back to his own try line. Then he comes out, and he's 15 metres out from his uprights and forced back by strong defence. Young Johns has been prominent there. Together with Daly, they made that tackle. Gary Belcher's got a smile on his face like a Cheshire cat. Kevin Walters, you'd be feeling warm.
I am, Ray. This is the best start we've seen by Queensland all series. Their best passage of play. If they can continue doing this, it'll put them in good stead for the rest of the game.
Your brother's a dummy half, and he switches the point, and they come back to the right for Hearn. And he is really leading by example tonight. He's put some really quality runs together, giving them a foundation going forward.
He did that in the second game as well, Ray, and he and Andrew G at times were able to get some passes away, and this might be a penalty against Daly. Yes, rightly so. Laurie Daly took out the chaser, Dale Shearer, changed course to do so. You are allowed to use the shoulder to bump the chaser, but not go out of your way to do so. And this will show it up fairly clearly. There's Shearer, Laurie Daly going across, bang, never in doubt.
Just Mike is down. So at 2 points to nil, 20th minute just going by. And Dale Shearer taking the penalty created by Laurie Daly. Of course, that firmly puts Queensland back into an attacking position, something that hasn't been foreign to them tonight. Dallas now playing it back, and Walters has to go himself. Both the runners that he thought were intended, they got offside, and he couldn't find Langer with a safe pass. And so they go across for Langer now, and then out wide for Billy Moore. Tuvey makes the tackle. Willie Kahn comes on the inside. 10-metre line underneath him to the right for Langer. And Langer then pushes it on, and then Hearn, then Langer. Daly makes the tackle. Manson says shoulder high the tackle. Then Shearer for Coyne, and Coyne got through the tackle of Muir, lost the ball, and the advantage applies for New South Wales.
So much pressure that the Maroons have put on, and finally they've come up with an error that's let the Blues off the hook. It's a big set of six here.
Menzies is with it for the Blues. I think Gary might have a microphone problem there. Menzies will play it just inside his own 20-metre line.
I don't like harping on it, but I don't think Queensland got any help there from a poor 10 metres from New South Wales in defence. They're still looking to get offside, and we haven't seen many penalties from David Manson in that department. I think there should have been more.
Scoreboard creates a reflection of last year. 2 points to nil, which Origin was that last year when, in fact, that was the final score. Here's a chance. Shearer puts it on the boot, but it's gone too deep. An urgent race from Brasher. Dale Shearer, for the moment, doing everything that the Queensland selectors have asked of him. And here was an opportunity.
Well, I've been one player who was critical of Dale, critical of Dale Shearer's selection at 5'8". He's made me eat my words in the first 20 minutes of this game. So everything he's done has been very good. And the one thing, again, has been the depth outside him that has been much more impressive than what we've seen in this series to date.
Tuvey is proving a problem for Queensland, as he has all series. And now Harrigan offloads for Eddinghausen to promote Johns, and Johns is put down, but Coyne didn't secure the tackle. And Johns goes scampering away. Mullins is on the outside of him. Queensland have got defence in amongst them. Eddinghausen, he comes from nowhere and puts it down. Andrew Eddinghausen scoring in his 25th Origin appearance. Another try.
He's a freak, isn't he, Andrew Eddinghausen? He got the first one up here a month ago, and he's popped up to grab it again. Andrew Johns, beautiful work. So strong, pushing his way through tacklers. Now, as we freeze played there, have a look at Steve Menzies being taken out by Dale Shearer. But it made no difference. Andrew Johns must have beaten 5 or 6 in that one movement. And Andrew Eddinghausen, as he does so well, backing up the score under the posts.
How many tries is that for Eddinghausen?
Well, it puts him up there, Eddinghausen, with the all-time try scorers. But look at Johns looking around. Eddinghausen has come from dummy half, 30 or 40 metres away, desperately chasing the ball. Got himself in a great position for that flick pass. He really needed it, the Blues. Hung on desperately in defence.
And I think you'll find that will put Andrew Eddinghausen on top with Dale Shearer. The amount of tries scored in State of Origin. Andrew Johns, a fairly simple conversion attempt here, right in front of the post. He set the try up, and he's about to extend their lead with this kick.
So the scoreboard 6 points to 2, the Blues over the Maroons after 24 minutes. Queensland with the restart now. Driving it down to the New South Wales line. And Lazarus brings it back before turning and giving it back for Tuvey. 6 points to 2 New South Wales. Ettinghausen a try converted by Johns.
Well, Fittler really busting him again. This is similar to the second game. Queensland did everything right in the first half to find themselves behind the scoreboard. They really need to get back into this match before half-time. The Blues don't want to go into the half-time break with the Blues the upper hand once again.
Daly's kick has found the line. Wishart was coming down with Ettinghausen. Canberra captain just putting a little bit too much weight on it. Jason Smith goes into the game at the 26th minute. Brad Thorne, the player coming off. So Jason obviously packing in to the back row. Just where?
He may pack into the back row, Ray, but I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Wharton wants him to scout out wide in the back line. That's been one of the chief plays for New South Wales in the first two matches. The likes of Muir, Ferner and Steve Menzies able to play out in the backs and not get in the way. And tonight we've seen the Maroons do the same thing. That looks like Owen Cunningham out there, his first tackle in State of Origin football, and he was showing what it was all about. Forced back 2 or 3 metres by Glenn Lazarus.
Jason Smith now, so the freshman on, bringing it back away from the 20-metre line before going over for Shearer, who turns it in for Khan. Khan goes for pace, but he's been cleaned up. Menzies initially made the tackle, and then it was Ettinghausen that secured it. Then Langer goes over for Moore, and Moore is driven down under the tackle of Tuvey with the assistance of Glenn Lazarus. Lazarus again showing incredible pace in cover. Wishart coming away from his own line. 6 points to 2. Queensland enjoying that lead for the major part of the first half, but then it was left to Andrew Johns to break it with the try for Ettinghausen, which he converted, and 6-2 as we go past the 27th minute. Menzies, who simply by his record is attracting more and more attention from the defence in rugby league today. Tuvey then, second man play for Harrigan. He's lost it. Queensland come up with it in great field position. Andrew G strolls up to the 20-metre line. Willie Khan is there. Khan tries desperately to get away, but Daly pulls him down in a try-saving tackle. Khan plays it. Renouf it is, comes to the open side. Renouf will play it now. 3 metres away from the line. For Andrew G, a dummy half to throw an ordinary pass. Shearer, he can't pick it up cleanly. Larson dives on it. So Queensland really bumbled their way through that play. Then it's Langer using Jason Smith. Langer's with him on the outside. Oh, the pass went away for Billy Moore. And it seemed that a try has gone begging.
Oh, the anguish on Billy Moore's face says it all. Alfie Langer couldn't have done any more there. A great ball back on the outside from Jason Smith. Langer stepping to the outside again, gets the ball around the corner, and it was there for Billy Moore. Perhaps he sighted it late. That is one try Queensland desperately needed.
And of course you don't get too many try-scoring opportunities in State of Origin games. Billy Moore, we saw him score one here a couple of years ago when the finger went up in the air. He delighted. But after that effort, he'll be very, very disappointed that he didn't put his team level and maybe in front with the conversion.
Brad Fittler offloading for Daly. Defend away from Khan and from Steve Walters. Brasher pushes it long for Johns, and Johns attracting a bit of attention, is put down 40 metres out from his own line. Andrew Johns, one of the players I mentioned earlier, playing, I would imagine, for man of the series here. And he's done his chances no harm. Sailor then on his arc-like run, which carries him away from 2 and then taken by Daly.
Fairly poor chase there from New South Wales. No one up the centre of the field. It was left to Ainscough and Tuvey. Sailor with too much pace to get around them.
Gary Larson just pushing a pass there that didn't bring them any advantage, and I do question whether it was necessary. Back in your own territory. Scoreboard's not too bad. Here's a good run down the inside of Mark Coyne, came Jason Smith, and then the Blues can't capitalise on the advantage.
Dale Shearer is starting to create a little bit of havoc out there. The 2 Willie Kahn busts were results of Shearer's passes, and so too was Mark Coyne getting into some space on the outside. He's drifting across field and a lot of attention, and all of a sudden there seems to be space for the men around him. Jason Smith again coming up with a mistake there. Brasher couldn't clean up. Very good tackle once again by Stephen Menzies in cover defence. Came up with one earlier on Willie Kahn, which stopped a very dangerous situation.
Jason Smith has taken a very heavy knock to the head. There was no foul play involved. And it's not the first time we've seen Jason on the end of an injury in State of Origin. And I think they've called for the stretcher. But Jason able to walk off, aided by the trainers.
Brad Thorne back into the fray. That sleight of hand from Dale Shearer, showing the ball on the inside. It's very difficult to defend against. He's doing a good job.
Andrew G has also been replaced. That sees Brad Thorne pushed up into the front row.
So Tim Brasher is forced back under the defence. Kevin Walters, you've given us an opinion on Queensland. Oh, knock on against the Blues. I must admit that it originally came off Furner's head, and I was wondering for a second if it was a knock on. Let's watch it closely now. It's come off the head, and then the little knock on as he tries to gather the ball in. He's propelled it forward. Kevin Walters, you've commented on Queensland. What about the Blues?
Yeah, Ray, a good way to check if a team has come here ready to play is their kick chase. And New South Wales tonight, I think, have been a little bit off colour in that area. And if they don't pick it up with Willie Kahn and Wendell Sailor back there, they could be in a bit of trouble out there.
There's Owen Cunningham relishing his selection in Queensland Origin. He's lived for this moment, and he's the oldest debutant on record, but he doesn't care. Just outside the 20-metre line now, the Blues in a defensive mode as Langer works with Shearer. He's enjoying this combination. Now Wishart goes back to clean it up. He beats Dale Shearer's tackle, and then Larson is left to pull down the Illawarra winger. 12 metres out from the Blues line, 6 points to 2. Just the one try, and scored by Andrew Eddinghausen.
He's had a fair bit to do tonight, Rod Wishart. They seem to have kicked to his wing predominantly, and every time he's been able to pick up very good metres with his strong running. Speaking of strong running, here's Tim Brasher taking the ball first pass off the ruck. He's 35 metres out from his own line. Continued on the short side with Tuvey out of dummy half.
Tuvey has peppered Queensland with many of those runs, and Johns continues to put that combination on a very firm mantle. That combination with Jeff Tuvey. Kahn comes back, but he's tackled by Eddinghausen. And you know, we talk about and we sing the delights of the defence of Daly, or the attack of Daly and Eddinghausen, but the defence of Daly and Eddinghausen has been superb in this series.
Well, a lot of people have said Steve Renouf has been quiet, and he has, but I think you've got to give credit to Andrew Eddinghausen. His defence is just superb. I think one of the best defensive centres in the game. And he has just marked Steve Renouf out of the matches.
This is Tony Hearn now. Fifth tackle. Dean Pay went for a tackle that he knew was high, and you could see him, he pulled his arm out of it as though he put it in a blast furnace. Referee let it go. Brasher comes back, and up to the 20-metre line, there's Renouf coming down quickly and putting Brasher out of it.
Just showing what kind of defence Steve Renouf is capable of as well. Tremendous tackle on the fullback. Ainscough forced back inside his own 20. A key change for Queensland. Dale Shearer has left the field, and Adrian Lamb, who hasn't seen a lot of game time in this series, has gone on, and you would imagine would slot into the 5'8" position.
So Brad Fittler is put down now by Billy Moore. They're back on their 30-metre line. And the Blues looking as though they'll take this 4-point advantage into half-time. Menzies floats a pass out for Johns. It wasn't the sort of pass that the kicker would be looking for. He'd be wanting something a bit sharper and snappier than that. But it's with Wendell Sailor now back inside his 30-metre point. 34th minute coming up. So we're 6 minutes away from the break. And the crowd that was really loving it up to the 26th minute has become a little bit subdued now, with New South Wales wresting the lead away at that point. Billy Moore 10 metres away from the halfway line, and this is Lamb combining with Hearn. A shoulder charge went wrong for Harrigan. Walters now, and Thorne wanted it on the left, but Walters taking the dummy half run, but Tuvey shutting down the attack in the centre.
They're tight around there. Walters, that would be at least his 3rd run from dummy half, and hasn't got many yards yet. They're aware of how dangerous he is.
Brasher coming back this time to the 30-metre point. And now it's with Ainscough, pushed along the line for Mullins. Mullins. And then for Dean Pay to take it back towards the centre of the ground. Tuvey and Johns. They cut out Fittler. They find Daly, and then Eddinghausen, who beats Renoff's attempted tackle, but Sailor is there with Lamb. And they bring to a halt that attack down that right-hand corridor as Fittler now just lobs his ball down into the corner. Khan forced to pick it up and bring it back, and Fittler puts everybody on side.
And Khan and Sailor have just changed positions. Sailor on the left wing, and he's slow to get back into position. Let's hope he's not hurt for Queensland's sake. Perhaps just a little bit tired. He's done a lot of work at the back. I don't think they will lose anything with Willie Khan. He's played a lot of football there this year for the Broncos.
Mark Coyne now. Talking of Willie Khan, he's playing very well. His first taste of origin for 1996, Steve Roach.
Yeah, we gave Rod Wishart a bit of a rap earlier about his running back play. Willie Khan has been outstanding for the Queensland side, considering it's his first game in the series, and that's the second time that him and Wendell Sailor have swapped.
So 38 metres off the Queensland line. The Blues looking for another try, perhaps in front of the break, as Daly works on the left with Mullins, and Mullins is held and put away by Mark Coyne. And then Daly a dummy half, offloading to a running Harrigan. The Chief plays it back for Tuvey, a dummy half, but the referee has ordered a knock on. Harrigan's not happy.
And both sides guilty of some simple mistakes in the last minute or two. We saw a mix-up involving Alan Langer. The ball was knocked on, and that was just a clumsy effort from Paul Harrigan, although there were some hands in there, especially from Gary Larson. The referee would really be looking for a touch judge to help him out on that kind of call. Queensland win the scrum now. Adrian Lamb throws a couple of dummies before confronted by Laurie Daly.
So Langer, and then for Owen Cunningham. Cunningham bound for the North Queensland Cowboys next year as he completes his contractual duties with the Manly club. Here's Hearn.
That run from Cunningham was really all that Queensland need. Just get him to go forward, get a quick play the ball. They need that extra big man in there. He was lacking in the second game.
Alan Langer then to the defensive line. Now this will bring a penalty, and it will be against Adam Muir for mine. Fittler coming in to ask the question.
And Adam Muir, he was livid that this decision has gone against him. He's claiming that he didn't have to get out of the way of Alan Langer. They will kick for goal, and that may narrow the margin to 2 points at the half-time break. Here's Langer kicking the opposite direction to where he was running, and I think Adam Muir's got every claim to say, well, look, I don't have to move.
There's a little kick in from Langer. Just the right shoulder. He's just given him a bit of a nudge. Well, I think the ref's got it right there.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. He's impeded the progress of the player by that action there. And the bloke's not in possession of the football.
Yeah, and the bloke's got every right to run around him. He doesn't have to move. He does not have to get out of the way of the kicker. Adam Muir was holding his ground as far as I'm concerned.
All right, fine. Well, we'll leave it there.
And can drop his shoulder if he wants.
Well, we are having quite a disagreement here.
No, we'll leave it there. It's 2-1. You lost, Sterling.
Yeah, bad luck, Sterling. 30-15 our way with new balls. "32 metres out in the shadows of half-time. Willie Kahn, who kicked that goal back at the 2nd minute. And he's right in front. Hits it. And has just squeezed it a little bit outside. So I doubt that there'll be any alteration to the scoreboard now. With seconds ticking away, about 45 seconds left. He managed to get the ball to go dead. And New South Wales will be obliged to give the ball back to Queensland with just a matter of seconds remaining on the clock. And Brad Thorne given the ball by Billy Moore, and Thorne is put down right on the halfway line.
I'd like to see Queensland hit a couple up here, and if nothing's happening, perhaps put a midfield bomb up. Put some chasers down. Langer's calling for it on the right.
Langer puts the kick in. He sends Billy Moore after it. Dallas is going quickly, but Mullins has also got some speed. And Mullins was back there to clean it up. The halftime siren, I believe, about to sound. Crowd heading for the refreshment bars and the like as David Manson whistles off the first half. Just the one try scored by Andrew Ettinghausen at the 26th minute, converted by Andrew Johns, and a penalty goal after 2 minutes kicked by Willie Kahn. 6-2 in Origin 3. We'll be back with more exclusive on the Nine Network in just a moment.
Back at Suncorp Stadium, and we're ready for the second half of this great contest between Queensland and New South Wales. And of course, right now New South Wales in front 6 points to 2, and to call all the action, here is Ray Warren.
All right, Ken, thank you. As we come back now for the second 40 minutes. Just some final instructions from Phil Gould. Queensland coming out first again. The second half, and the talk, just sharing some conversation with some of the pressmen. They're quite convinced that this is the best of the 3 matches this year. Your opinion, Stella?
Well, I've enjoyed it, Ray. I think that Queensland have lived up to the call that they were going to attack at all opportunities, and that always augurs well for a good match. I don't think the New South Wales side, really expected the intensity that they faced in the first couple of minutes. I'm sure that Phil Gould will have rammed it home and said that this second 40 minutes is going to be exactly the same. The big danger for Queensland, of course, is that in the Sydney match, after going in after a good 40 minutes, they were scored on after 2 or 3 minutes. And Jeff Tooby run down the blind side. They've got to start this game like they did at the beginning of the match.
So Dale Shearer is back on the park with Paul Vaughton giving him probably about the last 10 minutes of the first half off the field. And now the Blues start their way back onto the playing field, probably with just a reminder from Phil Gould and Laurie Daly about 1993 and the emptiness that they felt having won the series, but not able to enjoy winning a series to its fullest. Captain Brad Fittler. And Jim Dimmick, well, he's been at the centre of a dispute, I suppose, a medical dispute. Jim Dimmick, the Australian League doctor, New South Wales doctor, thinks he's okay to play, and the Parramatta doctor says he's not. So you work that one out. Laurie Daly to start the second half, and no wind assistance. Still night in Brisbane. And here's the second half starting. 40 minutes of the series remaining. As Langer it is who sends it back via Larson and Shearer to Moore. Quick passing right across the park. And Saylor is put down by the New South Wales defence. Ettinghausen out wide with Fittler and Wisher.
Good play there from Queensland. What they have done by moving the ball across field from the kickoff is shifted the New South Wales forwards across field, try to get them disorganised. Maybe they'll get some good yards out of their territory.
think he's going to really knock on, even though there was a New South Wales player lying in the play the ball.
Well, the important thing here is whether the New South Wales player was making any attempt to get out of the play the ball area. You've got to say that he was just lying there. Well, it's hard to see how that can go against Queensland.
Well, Adam Muir's in the way for sure there.
Not only is it a scrum, but it's won by New South Wales, and Daly is put down 25 metres off the Queensland line. And keep in mind that the Blues have possession simply because one of their players was lying in the play the ball. Now Tuvey goes off to the blind side, and that's where they were able to pick up that try early in the second half of the Sydney Football Stadium clash. Tuvey appealing for a quick play of the ball. That's where they are, just inside the 10-metre line. Fittler using Adam Muir, who hasn't had the happiest of games in game 3. Now Brasher back to the centre of the park for Fittler, and then Harrigan offers him an angle, and then a handoff for Brasher, who does a 360 before finding Fittler. Fittler shows it to Dimmick, then kicks. There's some vacant space out here, and Sailor is across like a will-o'-the-wisp. Beautifully thought out.
Brad Fittler urging his troops on. Great play here, that ball from Brasher. Just dummies on the inside. See that out wide is Mullins or Wishart chasing through. I'm not sure Wendell Sailor needed to get rid of that ball. I thought it could have maybe taken its, bounced over on its own, but he's playing safety first.
We've got Steve Roach and Kevin Walters standing by to tell us what happened at half-time, but let's stay with this as Lazarus zeroes the New South Wales attack back to the 30-metre line. The Blues setting up on the second tackle now. Ettinghausen from the right, sweeping across to the left for Fittler, causing Langer to have to go high to make the tackle on the big fellow. And then Brasher, a dummy half, finds Adam Muir. He loses his footing in the soil that has been softened up by the recent rain. Harrigan now, a good run, a surging run, 12 metres out from the Queensland line. For Tuvey and Fittler to combine, for Dimmick out wide to switch it. Back through Fittler and then Daly. Two decoy runners for Ainscough, who chips it ahead once, kicks it again, dives for it. It's there, but Renouf is there as well. Now Ainscough, was he pulled out of it is the question.
Oh, brilliant work there. Individual stuff from Jamie Ainscough. It was a big movement with a lot of passes. At the end of it, Jamie Ainscough decided to do it all himself. Steve Renouf got back in time. Let's have a look when Wendell Sailor comes across now. He's kicked to the football. It's all clear.
Brasher comes back as New South Wales mount another attack. And Harrigan thrusting himself at the defence as he's done so often tonight. And then Tuvey for Fittler, and they switch it again, and here's Daly, and then Muir. Muir stands, he offloads for Menzies, and Menzies is put away. They're just 18 metres out from the line, leading 6-2. And here's Lazarus now, as the two big front rowers lay the foundation. And then Tuvey into the hands of Fittler, across for Daly, pushing it on, and it's Ettinghausen who's put away on 5. So will they go for the bomb? Dimmick in for Fittler, and there it goes, heading for the upright. It's a great kick, and I think yes, it's a try scored by Mullins. The combination has worked again. Mullins has got his third Origin try for the year.
And he's having a great time at the end of the kicks that Andrew Johns and this time Brad Fittler are putting up. It was a beautiful bomb, very well positioned. The chasers coming in. I think Brett Mullins is offside myself, but the call's been okay, and look at him fly above everybody, and there was plenty of traffic involved. Mullins gets his third in this series.
What a beautiful kick by Fittler.
Well, it was well placed. Line ball. Look at Mullins fly, just getting over the top of him. He's at a quiet year at club level by his standards, but the Origin has breathed some life back into Brett Mullins. Great series.
So graceful. One of the game's modern day crowd pleasers. Brett Mullins. Now, again, the high shot.
Let's just have a look if we can see.
No drama here.
No, he's a mile onside. I was looking at the wrong line. Nearly hit the upright. Got up very high above Menzies. Rod Wishart, fairly simple conversion attempt. Andrew Johns took the first one. Wishart now with this one.
So Wishart converts the try scored by Brett Mullins. So there it is, the new scoreboard, 12-2. The Blues over the Maroons at the 46th. Queensland have now got a big task on their hands. 10 behind, and I would think the Maroons will find that New South Wales will get even more confident now. They'll give the ball more in.
I don't want to make excuses for Queensland, but 3 sets of 6 tackles for the Blues following that, well, the penalty against Andrew Gee when Adam Muir was lying in the play the ball.
12-2 as another of the big men put a dent in the Queensland defence, and Harrigan it is that builds on that bottom layer. Now, Blocker and Kevin have been down there with half-time reports. Steve, you first.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for New South Wales. Their best player in the first half. I thought Andrew Johns is off for the whole of the second half with the shoulder injury. That means Freddie Fittler will go to halfback, first receiver in attack. Laurie will go to 5'8", and Jimmy Dimmick will come on and go into the lock forward position. Phil Gould wants his side to lift their intensity. They must play down Queensland's end. He can't remember any time in the first half that they were down there for any length of time. More enthusiasm on kick chase. Don't fall into Queensland's trap of throwing the balls for the sake of throwing them.
All right, Steve Roach. Kevin Walters, are you there?
Yeah, mate, more bad news for Queensland. Jason Smith won't be returning again tonight. He's had a head knock, a mild case of concussion, so he won't be playing any more part in this game. Faddy believes New South Wales have had too much second phase play and not enough from his side. He's looking for improvement there, and overall the mood was very relaxed in the dressing rooms. They were confident leading up to that try they could go on, but things might have changed a bit now.
The early part of the second half hasn't been kind to Queensland in this series, Kevin.
It hasn't, mate. Some decisions from the referees that could have gone either way, and unfortunately it's gone New South Wales way again, so they picked up another try out of that one.
The crowd has become more subdued.
Well, they're a little bit quiet, but Queensland has started to get a bit of attack going here. I think the crowd will lift, and maybe the boys can get... Well, they need to score twice now, so that's going to be a bit hard, I think.
All right, Kevin Walters on the sideline there. Of course, Australian representative, Broncos and Queensland representative. 5th tackle against his team at the moment, and here's another ball coming out from the play the ball. And referee Manson is going to put a scrum down. I got no problems with this, as opposed to what happened earlier. When there was a New South Wales player lying in the play the ball. I can't see how Queensland were made to be disadvantaged for that.
Well, yeah, Wendell Sailor there, no complaints from him. He knows it was an error. Turnover to the Blues just when the Maroons were mounting a bit of pressure. How costly is that try that went begging to Billy Moore in the first half going to be? Really, it's a difficult assignment from here from Queensland, 10 points down.
Wishart then playing it in the centre of the park, and Tuvey linking with Muir. And Adam Muir playing it now as they go onto the left, and Jim Dimmick combines. I mean, it is just incredible the amount of depth in the New South Wales side when you consider Andrew Johns is off and you bring on a bloke like Jim Dimmick, and then you want to rest a back rower, so you bring on Steve Menzies. Sailor comes out back 2 metres into the field of play. Talking of Menzies, he and Eddinghausen made the tackle. And Eddinghausen's defence again is being exhibited right there.
Yeah, the man he tackled, Willie Cahn's had a tremendous game tonight. The important thing for Queensland now is to not get frustrated or panic. We've still got 30 minutes left in this game. That's ample time to score enough points to win this match. What they've got to do is to make sure they don't come up with mistakes like
Here's a
that one.
chance for the Blues. Quick work by Fittler, linking up with Brasher. Brasher gives it on. Mullins was looking for his second try.
Mullins also looking for support there. No one backing up.
Well, it all happened so quickly. Jim Dimmick now trying to force home the advantage of a quick turnover. What happened? Tony Hearn lost the ball. Was jolted out in the defence. Now Fittler to the right for Daly, drifting across for Eddinghausen to go back. And Eddinghausen takes the tackle, but it's a high shot. It's a tackle high from Andrew Gee that will see the Blues take the penalty.
Almost looks like he could be in the blood bin himself, Andrew Gee. A cut over his eye. But certainly Andrew Ettinghausen drifting in field. Made a bit of a target there for Gee. Here's the shot, no doubt high. David Manson right behind that, only metres away.
Another angle on the tackle, and there's no doubt that its first contact point was around the chin and neck area from Andrew Gee. 12-2 the Blues. Again with a converted try early in the second stanza. Quick reminder that Friday night we've got the clash of Manly and North Sydney. That'll be a beauty as Wishart now from close range, and he pilots it straight over the black rock. So let's take a break. We're back with more in just a moment. The Blues by 12 now. Queensland returning to the halfway line for another commencement in play, and it's Brasher who brings it back out to the 20-metre line. Talking to men of the series, he would be right up there. 12-point margin to New South Wales over Queensland, and a lot of the credit may have gone unnoticed, but I'm sure not by the people who know their game. These two big men have really given New South Wales some thrust.
They have. Their go forward has been great throughout the series. Queensland have stopped them, or particularly in the first half. They halted their progress a little bit. They're rolling forward again now, and this is where they're dangerous. There's the mistake from Tuvey. 6 tackle turnover rules Manson. The Maroons are trying. Mark Coyne rushes in to get a quick play the ball.
An uncharacteristic error there from Jeff Tuvey. Talking of the front rowers, Langer throws a dummy and goes straight
found
through.
some space, Peter, just inside the 40-metre line. And Queensland are quickly now into an attacking mode as it comes through Gee and Hearn. They try to put more through. But Daly again is there to shut the gate together with Dimmock. And then they go across for Langer to push on. Shearer's got Sailor with him. He tries to get rid of Tuvey. He does the first time. The little bloke perseveres and comes again. Gets some help this time from Harrigan and Lazarus. And then it's Walden. To the right, a fairly narrow blind side, but they go, Shearer picked up and cartwheeled into the ground by Mura.
He's had a look around, Dale Shearer.
And here's Mullins with a sprint down the left, but a penalty's gone to Queensland.
Well, hang on, this touch judge has come in from this side. Can't believe that the other touch judge was 10 metres away and saw nothing wrong. Let's have a look. There's Shearer. Muir going through with the tackle. Muir's defence will be that he didn't realise that Shearer had passed the football.
He's given them the complete cartwheel. Now, Muir was heading for the bench, and Manson has called him back. But Peter's right, the touch judge on the far side, and we're talking about this incident happening 10 metres in from the other side of the ground. Muir called to make a long run back. Now, I think you'll find that a report will be furnished on the tackle, but for now the penalty will suffice. Now, Hearn. With the tempers frayed during that incident, will it buoy the Queenslanders on to bring them back into the game? They're behind now by the dreaded margin of 12. Walters with a dummy left and right, and then put down 5 metres out from the line. Moore onto the left for Langer. Langer off the left foot twice and then tries to scurry through. Menzies is there to make the tackle together with Lazarus, who does a good job of holding Langer down. And then Walters into G and across for Moore. And then Willie Kahn had to remain alert. He's 10 metres out on tackle number 5. Renoff at dummy half. Sailor at first receiver. He puts a kick in, not a bad one either, but Daly was there to clean it up and bring it back 10 metres.
Excellent cover, Laurie Daly, realised that Tim Brasher was further across the field in behind his forwards. He dropped back behind the posts and covered that kick.
Really, there were no chasers on the outside that were ever going to get close to this. I thought it was a simple handover in possession, really, as Dean Pay takes it 21 out. And we just saw in that passage of play why New South Wales have won this series. Again, their defence rock solid.
Tell you where they are so good too. When Langer steps back on the inside, always 2 or 3 Blues defenders sliding across to cover him. He's found not much space once again.
Stephen Menzies on the 5th tackle. They go back looking for the kicker. Mark Coyne went through to try and put some pressure on Brad Fittler. It's a towering kick by the captain. Turns Wendell Sailor around. And now Mullins comes down. He makes the tackle. Sailor loses it. Wishart gets it away. Daly knocks on. Advantage goes back to Queensland for Langer. And Alan Langer will play the ball 12 metres from the halfway line.
Oh, can you believe it? Wendell Sailor played at the football. Mullins came through and with a great tackle, forced the mistake, and then Daly couldn't fingertip control the ball down around his ankles. And Alan Langer there to pick up. Adrian Lamb into first receiver. Picks up Brad Thorne back on the inside. Straight through Menzies. He hangs on along with Fittler.
So Walters up the centre. He's been probing for those metres all night long. And now away from Owen Cunningham for Langer to give out for Lamb. And Lamb tries to sprint through a gap. Closed by David Furner. And then Mark Coyne finds Alan Langer. And the crossfield bomb. The Queenslanders are coming down the ground fast. And Brasher went up. Brasher again magnificently above the pack.
He has been just superb. Tim Brasher once again has not given Brett Mullins a look in at fullback. He is so solid. Here he goes. Gets above them and just locks that ball up. Never in doubt.
Willie Kahn has been brought off in a fairly healthy state. More though for Queensland, more chances as Lamb goes on. He's on his way, pulled down 2 metres out from the line. Can they go on with it though? Lamb plays it back, Singh gave it for Dallas. Dallas is held. Singh goes in to try and push him over the line.
Still on the
so
left.
Desperate is it now? Well, Dallas plays it for Walters. And then Lamb was taken by Eddinghausen. The ball has been batted over the dead ball line.
Oh, disappointment on the bench there. Tim Brasher was absolutely smashed in running the football out, and Adrian Lamb picked up, looked as though he might scoop the 30 metres to score, but David Furner coming across. Look at that for great defence. Lamb there to pick it up, and the back row from New South Wales was only back there with Wishart. Tuvey chasing. There he comes.
Super tackle by David Furner.
Right at the end of that, if Adrian Lamb could have thrown a pass instead of kicking, he had a 4-man overlap.
Just also had a question there on the tackle of Andrew Eddinghausen. But they come back now with an opportunity with 6 more tackles. Gary Larson. Queensland down by 12 points. Cunningham, short passing for Andrew G. Matt Singh, as I said, is on. Willie Kahn is off. We'll get a report on him in just a moment from Kevin Walters. Here is Owen Cunningham playing the ball. Queensland pressing for a converted try. And then, Alan Langer has been taken high. A hand went out from Dean Pay. Quick tap taken by Alfie.
Well, he's got to get 10 in the bin there.
Yeah, Timmy Brasher's got to go here for 10. I don't think it was a send-off offence against Dean Pay on Alan Langer, but they'll be short of one player for the next 10 minutes at least. Timmy Brasher, he's shaking the head, but he must have known that he was going to get a stretch on the sideline. It was a professional foul, and that's what the sin bin is for.
Queensland send Andrew G into the defence. Walters is there, and Walters is a couple of metres out. He tried to get it away. He lost the ball. The Blues have turned defence into attack through Brett Mullins.
Well, that's a psychological blow for Queensland. They needed to score there. 12 men on the field for the Blues. They've blown a couple of opportunities. And once again, 6 tackles. That's gone begging.
Jason Croker is on for New South Wales, and immediately he's smashed by the defence. New South Wales are out to the 30-metre line, leading by 12 points, but Queensland certainly haven't given up, and they've had a couple of great opportunities. Now played back by Dean Pay for Tuvey to go away from dummy half. Oh, gee. Came over the top of the tackle underneath from Cunningham. Played by the Manly skipper. Back now for Fittler. And Fittler's kick driven down towards Matt Singh. In 15, he's playing on the left wing in place of Willie Kahn, and again, the best chaser in the game, Andrew Ettinghausen, is there to make the tackle. Now, it's with Renouf. He floats across and picks up Dallas. Dallas, arguably the fastest man in the game, is pulled down by Ettinghausen. Well, how much ground does he cover?
He's having a great game, Ettinghausen, isn't he? Good to see Dallas in some space.
Now, Lamb tries to scurry through, but he's been shut down by Dimmick. Steve Walters is there trying to urge his players on with Alan Langer. They turn it in, and Saylor is able to brush away Dimmick. Then Walters, now Larson. Larson up the centre, and it's been dived on over there by Cunningham. Lamb was about to take it, and suddenly he lost his footing. Brad Thorne combines on that blind side, on the far side of the ground. And Brett Dallas will go to dummy half. I thought he might have gone for a run himself, but Langer overcalled him. A chip and then a chase by Langer, and the ball does a right-hand turn with Mark Coyne steaming down the right-hand side.
And that just about sums up Queensland's night. That's the worst result they could have got. Either the chaser was to come up with the football, Mark Coyne, or Jeff Tuvey forced to dive on it, maybe taken over the sideline for another set of 6 for the Maroon side, and you would believe they would have had their score. The Blues at the moment are out on their feet, and they've got to have the football. Haven't had it for minutes now, and it's starting to show.
Gee, that's unlucky for Mark Coyne. He read that. Alan Langer kicking back to his right. Nobody else on the park apart from Tuvey saw it coming.
Well, here's one against the feed.
Langer playing the ball. Queensland against the feed. Larson taken down by Dimmick's tackle originally. Walters a quick play of the ball. Lamb puts on a sprint, turns it in. Cunningham just a metre from the line. Walters scoops it through his legs. 6 more tackles, said the referee. It was struck in the play the ball by the Blues. Now Larson picked up and driven into the ground. Fittler and Menzies, with Fittler making the main tackle there. Now for Langer on a wide blind side. Coyne steps away. Walters is in support. Walters is put down and he's lost it. So another attacking movement by Queensland breaking down.
Well, this game is worthy of being a decider. Both sides throwing everything at each other. You see Lazarus there tackling Steve Walters. He came up with a try saver on Owen Cunningham only moments ago when it looked as though the Manly back rower had to score.
So the Blues winning the scrum this time, back on their own line. And Laurie Daly given a reminder that he too can be tackled, and tackled strongly. It's been a feature of Laurie's game here tonight. His defence, they gave him a bit back then, and Croker comes outside the 20-metre line, but the Maroons are inside the 10. Let's take a report from Kevin on the sideline. What's the problem with Willie Kahn, Kev?
No problems with Willie, just got a bit of a knock on the cheek. Bit of spike coming into the game between the two teams. If it starts on the sideline, does that mean I've got to pull on blocker?
Possibly, yeah. I'd just move a couple of seats along.
The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up, Kev.
Look out, Queensland. We're in trouble.
What about you, big fellow? Enjoying it?
I'm loving it. New South Wales defence, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. They've had to hold Queensland out at least 6 occasions.
The 2 blokes up the front are doing the job that you'd want from them, Harrigan and Lazarus.
Oh, they've been great all series, not only in this game. They've led the way for New South Wales.
So Dean Pay plays it now, centre of the ground. And the Blues come across to the right. They're playing with 12 men. Tim Brasher is in the sin bin. And David Furner plays it now, and Tuvey Little hesitation before giving it to Fittler, and now for Daly. Daly is put down with the 40-metre line below him. Menzies sweeping it up for Lazarus. And the further this game goes, it would appear the stronger Glenn Lazarus is getting. Fittler then with a chance for drop goal from way out. I'll tell you what, it's a great kick. Well, Brad Fittler confidently has kicked at something like 35 metres and straight between the uprights for 15-2.
And more importantly, it's now put his side 13 in front, which means the opposition needs to score on 3 occasions. You cannot see them doing that with the remaining time. A consummate professional, so cool. He's called the football, no pressure coming through. I don't think Queensland thought that was a New South Wales option.
What about the kick? He's hit it 35 out. It's landed 15 metres behind the uprights.
Well, hasn't he given his side a boost there, Fittler? They were out on their feet a short while ago. Queensland, likewise, they've thrown everything into the attack. But that is a real blow for the Maroons.
While we're handing out raps, I've got to give one to the bloke playing the football now, Steve Menzies. He has worked the joint down tonight. Defensively has been absolutely outstanding. We know him more for his attacking play. But the amount of times that he's cleaned up tough situations, come across in cover defence, it's just been tremendous. Here's a penalty again for the Blues, so the tide has turned.
And Langer penalised and not impressed. And Allen's face tells the story.
Well, he knows the situation's desperate. They need to get the ball and score soon, and the opportunity seems to have slipped. Another 6 tackles for the Blues, and I don't think they'll try too much fancy. If no holes open up, you'll probably see a kick.
Here goes Tuvey sliding down the blind side again. Reminiscent of what he did in Sydney in the early part of the second half. Now Dean Pay hits it up, and Jim Dimmick is with him. Dimmick, a couple of metres inside the 20. Pay sweeping it off for Fittler to give for Menzies. And Menzies tries to break them, but Langer, small maybe, but very strong, and with the help of Matt Singh, they put him down. 10 metres out from the line, a chance to put it over the line again for what would be their 3rd try as it comes across now for Daly. He kicks ahead for Mullins. The race is on, and I think off the fingertips of Matt Singh.
Another planned move from New South Wales where they go one side and back the other. Adrian Lamb has hurt his shoulder in saving a try here. Mullins and Wishart were both zeroing in. No wonder Adrian Lamb has hurt the shoulder. He took the full brunt, the weight of Rod Wishart, and fell awkwardly in doing so.
It's a lot closer than it looked.
It was. Willie Kahn getting ready to come on and replace Lamb. But he was fairly late getting there. It almost looks like a Wishart hand from this angle. You see it from behind. Wishart reaching out. No, it's Adrian Lamb. Good ruling from the in-goal judge.
So he's done that right shoulder. Sydney City halfback. Langer takes us into the next chapter of play. It's been an absorbing 3rd match. Interesting to note that Queensland have won 10 of these 3rd matches in 14 series. They've won them 10-4. And the record here at Suncorp Stadium is something like 8-2. So statistically, New South Wales are coming into the match with something that has been nigh on impossible. But Paul Harrigan plays it now, 15 metres out from the line, and Fittler uses Lazarus before backing up himself, then Daly, then Menzies, and Wishart only had to catch it.
Well, it wasn't the greatest pass from Steve Menzies. Wishart looked a little bit casual trying to pick it up. Great work, Daly drawing his man. Menzies just takes Kahn in. Well, it was there to catch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't on the chest, but it was one that should have been taken. Seen 2 bomb tries, one from Billy Moore, where the pass only needed to be caught, and that one too. As Timmy Brasher back to the fullback position, which Brett Mullins occupies at the moment. And The opportunity is lost for the Maroons. They didn't score in that 10-minute period. An all-important point for their opposition.
Now, Singh. Driven down on his shoulder by Jeff Tuvey, and he's been penalised for a dangerous tackle. The size of him, you'd never think that he could generate enough strength to do that, but he does it time and time again.
Well, you hardly have to bend your back when you're that height. So strong, Tuvey. He gets underneath him so easy. Good run again. He's had a great game, Tony Hearn. Bustling up the middle.
Langer then goes with a second man play that includes Moore and Sailor using Khan. And Khan obviously quite convinced there's no cheekbone damage. Walters then, and dummies to Langer before taking the tackle of David Furner. Thorne pushing Renouf out of the way before giving the pass on to his captain. And Alan Langer submits in the tackle, 12 metres out from the line. Langer playing his 27th Origin match tonight. The ball batted back by Coyne. It's play on. It's been touched in flight. The tackle count has restarted. And played by Dallas. Coyne tries to burrow his way through. Played forward, and he puts a hand on it. It's a try, I think. Yes, he's given the try, David Manson. Mark Coyne got up, played the ball. You can play it in any direction, and he's put a hand on it.
Not the prettiest try scored by Mark Coyne. In fact, he probably scored the best one we saw a few years ago, but I don't think he even meant to play it forward. He stepped on it and dived over.
Oh, can you believe it?
What about Dallas? Did he have a hand in the play of the ball? No, he did not, but Mark Coyne has been awarded a try. It's a stunned look on his face, but he's going to take it.
We have seen sweeping movements, beautiful football, resulting in tackles being made a metre out. Mark Coyne has stumbled on the football and done what they've had so much trouble doing in 3 matches now. Fatty should have had them doing that all the time.
Willie Kahn converts, and so we come back to now 15 points to 8. 72nd minute.
Is it fair to say they're back? That's probably one of the worst play the balls you'll ever see. But hey, we'll take 6 points for it. Good on you, Coyne.
Was there ever any doubt?
They're back. Almost.
7 points the difference. Was that field goal by Brad Fittler. Just making it what you might think impossible for Queensland to win this game. Gary Larson coming back, his thighs caked in blue paint. The blue paint of the New South Wales badge on the field. Billy Moore with the socks down. Back slam by Glenn Lazarus. Now, Billy Moore up slowly. The tackle hurt him from Lazarus, and Gary Larson is also down. Queensland have got, in fact, 11 players in action at the moment.
A little bit of luck swinging Queensland's way. That's a couple of times just before the try. They got 6 again from a New South Wales hand. Almost a mistake there from Tony Hearn.
Now Owen Cunningham out on his own 40-metre line. Walters looking around. Langer very flat in attack. Sailor on his outside. On his inside was Hearn. And Hearn is taken down by Brasher and Daly. 15 points to 8 with 5.5 minutes on the clock as Langer goes back for Walters, and then he provides for Sailor, and this is Matt Singh. Singh around Ainscough, inside for Coyne, further in for Dallas. Dallas is on his way. Oh, this little red-headed winger, one of the great finishers, puts it over the line. 15 to 12 now.
Tremendous work there from Queensland, and it was Matty Singh who set it up by getting around Jamie Ainscough.
Well, there's nothing doing here. He went one side of the ruck to Langer, back to Smith. Wendell Sailor turns to pass on his good side, and just the speed here. Look at Singh, around Ainscough. Ainscough eventually gets him, but that great pass from Coyne left Mullins on the ground. Tuvey can't catch him. They're back in it.
And Matt Singh was able to put Jamie Ainscough back on his heels. And once a quick man like that can achieve that in a defender, he's halfway in getting around him. And that's what we saw. Brett Mullins slipping at the end didn't help. But Brett Dallas, no problems. Tremendous work there from Matt Singh.
Well, what about the great hands from Mark Coyne? Catch and pass in one movement. Put it right on Dallas's chest.
15-12. And refusing to lie down. Khan is spot on with his kick. And now 15-14. Big finish.
Just keep your eye here on Jamie Ainscough as Queensland come to the left-hand side. Wendell Sailor eventually gets the football and keeps it going. And as he passes to Matt Singh, so he frees it there. There you can see Jamie Ainscough has been put back so that he's standing still, and Singh is able to go through the gap on the outside, and his play continues. The ball back inside, great hands from Coyne. And you'll see Brett Mullins, he slips. But Brett Dallas, one of the best sides in rugby leagues, in full flight. What a shame the Queenslanders haven't seen a little bit more of it.
So 3.5 minutes left in the third Origin. The series won by the Blues, but they want to win the third match now. Every bit as much as Queensland. 1 point the difference. And of course that field goal I mentioned earlier from Brad Fittler from 35 metres out, that's the difference. As Hearn throws himself at them. And there he is, 32 metres out from his own line. Langer then, he knows the Blues are tired. He takes it to the 40-metre line, looking for runners on his inside and outside. Walters, Brad Thorne shows it inside, gets away from Tuvey, gets the ball back, it's come back for Menzies. The referee, I think, has ordered a knock-on against New South Wales.
He has a blue hand in that before the Queensland mistake. Jamie Ainscough's not happy. I think he may have almost tackled the Queensland player without the ball. Here's Thorne standing in the tackle. Not a great pass, he's tried to slip back. It's hard to tell from there. I'll go with that one though.
I thought you might, but I honestly thought that it was a Queensland knock-on. Sailor is with it, and they're 12 metres on their own side of halfway as Renouf makes a run into the waiting arms of Menzies.
The other important thing for New South Wales here is not to allow Queensland into kicking distance. They give away a penalty. That's 45 metres out now, it's 3 gone.
Well, there's the clock counting it down. 1 3/4 minutes on the clock. The Blues leading by 1. Langer playing it back for Billy Moore. And no penalties would be the call from the Blues. No penalties. Hearn plays it back. Walters comes left. Langer drops it on the boot. They all look onside to me. Brash has made a mistake, and then it was kicked by Fittler, who was in front of him. 6 more tackles to Queensland.
Should have been a penalty.
Fittler was offside for mine. That was the penalty. Then across for Andrew Gee. He's put down 15 metres out. Walters, he'll look for Langer. He's on the left. He's with it now. And Langer is held there. They'll hang on as long as they can, but they mustn't give a penalty.
He's almost down on his feet, Langer.
Walters away for Gee and then for Billy Moore. And Moore gets it away. Gee floats it out. They've got the overlap. Dallas has to come back in. And Dallas is put down 12 metres out.
40 seconds left.
Walters then. He gets inside the tackle. Takes it within 2 metres of the line. He'll play it on tackle 5. Then from Singh. Now with Langer. He stops. Rolls it into the end goal. Yeah! Coyne has put it down, but he's offside. He's offside. Mark Coyne is offside, and the penalty has been given to the Blues.
Oh, sit down, Gary Belcher. He was 20 metres offside.
We've got to see it again. Langer gets to the line and steps inside a couple of players. Where's Coyne? He's only 3 metres offside. They can't get a break.
What are you saying? It should have been allowed.
Well, I think the penalty earlier on.
That was the big play. Brad Fittler was definitely in front. As the siren goes, they would have had a kick to win it, but the fists are raised by the New South Wales captain. What a match.
Yeah, what a match and what a series as New South Wales eventually are able now to celebrate their clean sweep of the 96 series, winning this match by 1 point, 15 points to 14.